Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health risk for February 11, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon PatientWeather. Amazon purchases made through PatientWeather do support the activities of the patient and the weather. Looking at our surface map for Wednesday, high pressure will be dominating most of the east, and temperatures actually will be just a bit warmer, or at least closer to normal. You'll see we do have some snow still pushing around this low that is moving away from southeastern Canada, and it will be swinging some snow back into Erie, across the lakes, and up into Maine. The main focus will be this low pressure center trying to develop in Nevada. There will be a cool front hanging down through southern California and a warm front extending all the way across Utah into Wyoming, and lots of unsettled weather, rain and snow at elevation all the way from California into Colorado and Wyoming. Looking at the vitality index, which is a composite of all of those elements that can trigger something in human health, we have a lot of activity going on in California and in much of the West, especially across here from Idaho into Wyoming. Note that we have unsettled weather all the way from the middle Mississippi Valley, Missouri, Arkansas, across Tennessee, Kentucky, and then north through the Ohio Valley, all the way through Wisconsin, Michigan, into western Pennsylvania. And then we still have that little bit of activity here in Maine and southeastern Canada. Looking at pressure change, we'll have rising pressure here across California into western Oregon. We have rising pressure again through the middle Mississippi and into the Ohio valleys, the upper Great Lakes, and all of the Great Lakes extending all the way into western Pennsylvania, western New York. We have a bit of falling pressure here in western Nebraska into western South Dakota, and then a falling pressure still here in the northeast from Massachusetts through Maine and across into New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Looking at temperature change, and this is, again, not the kind of cold that we've seen, but there is still some falling temperatures here in the Ohio Valley. But note there's a nice warm up here in Maine. Looking at the dew point temperature change, this is more reflective of the surface pattern. We have that falling dew points here in the Ohio Valley, but note that we have rising dew points across almost all of the West, and they do need the moisture. We have lots and rising dew points here in Maine, extending down into the Atlantic. Vapor pressure not showing anything more significant than we already did, although we do have this area of very extensive rising moisture here in northern Florida. Looking at the change in atmospheric oxygen, you can see that we have that risk of migraine all the way from western Arizona into southern Nevada, all of the state of California, and a touch here in eastern Oregon. Significant rise in the risk of migraine all the way from basically northeastern Texas, across Louisiana, all the way to South Carolina in the Carolinas, across all of the middle Mississippi and Ohio valleys, especially strong here across Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky, all the way through Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, into Pennsylvania, and then about the Great Lakes from Wisconsin, Michigan, into upstate New York. You'll note that we have that risk of asthma and arthritis from the Texas Panhandle, across western Kansas, almost all of Nebraska into the Dakotas, picking up the easternmost portions of Colorado, and even into Wyoming. We also have that risk of asthma and arthritis very strong across Maine and extending on into the Canadian provinces. Note here in Florida, swinging back, picking up that risk of asthma and arthritis across southern Georgia and across much of the state of Florida. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're located.